What unfolded on Jimmy Fallon's late-night show recently has taken the entertainment world by complete surprise, leaving fans, critics, and media outlets buzzing nonstop. Mark Wahlberg, the famously cool-headed and professional actor known for his charm and wit, did something completely unthinkable. He stormed off the set of Fallon's show in the middle of the live taping after what sources describe as an intense verbal clash with the host. The incident began innocently enough, as most talk show interviews do, with Fallon welcoming Wahlberg warmly and joking about his tough guy image and workout routines. But things began to sour quickly when Fallon made a rather snide comment about Mark's early career days with the Funky Bunch and the Marky Mark phase. Wahlberg, who has spent years trying to distance himself from that image, clearly didn't take the remark lightly. Although he smiled uncomfortably at first, the tension in the room was instantly felt by everyone, including the audience, who fell unusually silent, sensing the discomfort on stage. Jimmy, perhaps misjudging the mood, decided to press further, teasing Mark about how he went from shirtless rapping to pretending to be a tough guy in every action movie. This was supposed to be funny, but to Wahlberg, it felt like an insult to his long journey as an actor who worked hard to shed the Marky Mark label and establish himself as a credible performer in Hollywood. Mark sharply responded, trying to keep his composure by saying, "I've done a lot more than that, Jimmy. Maybe you should do some homework before cracking those jokes." The tension was now unmistakable, and the live audience laughed nervously, unsure if this was real drama or just an elaborate late-night bit. But things escalated quickly when Fallon joked again, this time about Mark's latest film underperforming at the box office, saying, "I guess not every tough guy can save a movie from flopping." Mark's face stiffened, his smile vanished completely, and a chilling silence filled the studio. At this point, Wahlberg leaned forward, looking directly at Fallon, and said in a stern voice that caught everyone off guard, "Say that again, Jimmy. I dare you." Fallon, perhaps sensing that he had pushed too far but unwilling to back down in front of a live audience, tried to laugh it off, replying, "Oh, come on, Mark. You know we're just messing around here. It's all in good fun." But Wahlberg wasn't having it. He shook his head and said, "No, you've been taking shots since I sat down. You think this is funny? You think my career's a joke to you?" The audience gasped, clearly realizing that the situation was no longer just playful banter. Producers off camera were seen signaling nervously, perhaps contemplating cutting to commercial. But the verbal clash kept unfolding rapidly, unstoppable and raw. Jimmy tried to regain control of the show by diverting the conversation back to Wahlberg's upcoming project, but Mark was visibly done. "I don't need to sit here and listen to this crap," he snapped, throwing his cue cards on the table. Fallon, visibly stunned and trying to save the segment, said, "Mark, come on, we've known each other for years. You can't seriously be mad over some jokes." Wahlberg stood up, removing his mic as he did so, and said loudly enough for the audience and cameras to hear, "There's joking and then there's disrespect, and you crossed the line, Jimmy." With that, he turned and began walking off the stage while the stunned audience broke into confused whispers. Fallon was left sitting awkwardly, unsure of what to say next as the crew scrambled behind the scenes. Backstage sources claimed that Wahlberg was absolutely furious as he left the set, reportedly shouting about how Fallon had humiliated him on national television. One crew member stated that Wahlberg yelled, "I'm done with this clown, never again." His team quickly followed him out, canceling the planned post-show interviews. Meanwhile, Fallon was seen in a quiet huddle with his producers, clearly shaken and debating how to address the situation once they returned from the commercial break. Social media exploded within minutes of the incident, as audience members who had recorded clips on their phones began posting them online, showing Wahlberg's dramatic exit and the uncomfortable exchange that led to it. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok were instantly flooded with hashtags like "Subusers Wahlberg walks off" and "Fallon fail," sparking heated debates among fans. As the night went on, neither Fallon nor Wahlberg released any immediate statements, but speculation ran wild across entertainment. News outlets, Some insiders suggested that Fallon had been warned by Wahlberg's team prior to the show not to bring up the Marky Mark era or his past music career, but that Jimmy had ignored these warnings for the sake of a juicy, edgy segment. If this is true, then Fallon may have knowingly provoked Wahlberg despite being cautioned, which could explain the actor's furious reaction. On the other hand, some fans argued that Wahlberg overreacted, claiming that late-night shows are known for their sharp humor, and that celebrities should be prepared to laugh at themselves. The debate was fierce, with the internet divided between those supporting Fallon's comedic freedom and those defending Wahlberg's right to respect for his career transformation. Industry experts quickly weighed in, speculating on what this public blow-up might mean for both men's careers. For Wahlberg, known for being a professional even under pressure, this was an uncharacteristic loss of control that might affect his reputation for keeping cool in tough situations. Some suggested that casting directors and producers might think twice before inviting him for promotional tours if he's perceived as unable to handle media jabs. Meanwhile, Fallon's image as the likable, fun-loving host took a hit as well, with critics pointing out that his humor sometimes crosses into uncomfortable territory for the sake of ratings. PR specialists predicted that Fallon's team would need to issue an apology or clarification soon to control the damage and assure future guests that they wouldn't be disrespected. By morning, both sides issued carefully worded statements. Wahlberg's representative stated that Mark felt disrespected and ambushed by Fallon's comments, especially after prior requests to avoid certain personal subjects were disregarded. The statement emphasized that Mark appreciates humor, but draws the line at attacks that belittle his serious acting efforts. Fallon's camp responded by expressing surprise and regret over the incident, insisting that no offense was intended and that the segment was meant to be lighthearted fun. Fallon himself later posted on social media saying, "I've always joked with my guests with love, but clearly this time something didn't land the way it should have. Sorry to Mark if he felt uncomfortable." However, this apology did little to settle the heated online debate. Several celebrities and industry veterans chimed in publicly. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson tweeted support for Wahlberg, writing, "Respect is everything. We all evolve beyond our past." Others, like Seth Rogen, sided with Fallon, remarking, "If you can't laugh at your own past, you're in the wrong business." This division among Hollywood stars fueled the controversy further. Talk shows debated the incident endlessly, and entertainment blogs published detailed analyses of Fallon's previous gags that might have crossed the line with other guests. A resurfaced clip of Robert Downey Jr. looking uncomfortable during a 2016 Fallon interview began circulating, again suggesting that this might be a pattern with Fallon's humor style. The entire ordeal turned into a media spectacle, far beyond what anyone on either side likely expected. As the dust began to settle, insiders hinted that Fallon's producers were scrambling to repair relationships with Wahlberg's management to prevent a complete fallout. There were also rumors of behind-the-scenes phone calls between Fallon and Wahlberg, attempting to clear the air privately, though neither party confirmed such contact. Some reports claimed that Wahlberg demanded a formal, on-air apology before agreeing to appear on any future late-night programs. Meanwhile, Fallon's team is reportedly considering a change in approach for future interviews, becoming more sensitive to guest boundaries to avoid similar disasters. The saga left fans wondering if Mark Wahlberg would ever return to late-night TV, or if this clash marked the end of his appearances on such shows. One thing is certain: the explosive showdown between Mark Wahlberg and Jimmy Fallon has etched itself into the history of late-night television as one of the most shocking and talked-about moments in recent memory.